Hi, I'm Graham from WerkMaster. Here we are at part 2 of our video on how to refinish an aluminum oxide engineered floor. So part 1, you saw us take off the aluminum oxide wear layer using our S-seg diamonds, which we still have here. Now what we're going to do is finish the next grits through the process using sandpaper. So very simple process to set up the machine for that. We take these plates off, change it for our Velcro back sandpaper. Simple, easy process. You've got all 8 heads ready to go. What you didn't see between the first film and this is the corners. That's something we can't do with this machine. We have to come up with different systems. So a couple of ways you can do it. Our old friend, the scraper, razor scraper, you can scrape all the corners and door jambs that way. Or you can use a multi-tool like this. This one has a lot of miles on it. I used a wood rasp attachment just to break off that finish. And then throughout the process, you can catch those corners and those edges with matching sandpaper. So that's it. What we've done, we've given this a good vacuum. If you wanted to do any spot filling or trowel filling of your floor, this is the time to do that. Let that set. Then we can move on to taking it through the courses of sandpaper. So this, we used a 30 grit S-seg to take off the finish. Now we're going to use a 50 grit sandpaper for our first sandpaper cut. So here we are, we're ready to begin sanding with our 50 grit sandpaper. So a couple of things about operating in the machine. Take the speed right down to the lowest setting to start. Start the machine up, get it moving, and then take it up to the speed that you need. Around 700 RPMs works well for our application here. You'll see as I operate the machine on this little test floor, we'll start at the edges, do one pass around the edge first just to remove any scratches from the last cut. And then as we do through the field, we'll work into that area around the edge and take all the scratches out on the rest of the floor. All right, we're all set. We've got our vacuum, our dust containment ready to go. We're ready to begin sanding. So there we have it. We've sanded our floor with a 50 grit sandpaper and then an 80 grit sandpaper. Now for our final sanding, we're going to take off these 80 grit discs and we'll replace it with a foam pad and a 100 grit screen. That will get our final cut. There's one other option you could do at this point. You could use a random orbital attachment. If you wanted a really refined finish, if you're going to stain a tricky floor, like a dark stain on a maple, you could use this and it would just bring that level of finish up even higher. But for our purposes, we'll do with a straight 100 grit ready to go on our machine. So let's see how it looks. Okay, so we've finished our final sand. And before we put a new coat of finish on here, I wanted to stop and show you one thing. In part 1 of the video, we talked about the challenge of removing aluminum oxide, that machines can be too aggressive and you're worried about taking too much of the hardwood wear layer off. So what we've done, just to show you, we've taken our pretend wall away here, and you can see that the amount of material we've removed, it's minimal. The difference in height is it maybe that of a business card. Just enough of that finish has been removed just so we can get to the wood without being too aggressive, so you don't have to worry about burning through to the plywood underneath. So there we have it. We've now taken this floor from a pre-finished factory finish with aluminum oxide. We've cut that off with our S-segs. We've moved up to sandpaper of 50 grit, then an 80 grit, and now a 100 grit screen. We're done. All we have to do now is vacuum, clean it really well, and we'll be ready for your finish. So that's part 2 of our video series on how to refinish a factory finished floor. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.